on YouTube.
You just let me know when you're ready to start, Jeff.
Okay. Right, I've got to mute that.
Can you mute?
Okay. Bear with me here a second.
That's fine.
All right. All right, so we're live on YouTube and we're recording on Zoom. Now I'm going to do a share screen and turn it over to you, Mr. Mayor. Hold on,
All righty, sir.
so we can kind of. Now, what does that look like on your display? Are you seeing just one big presentation, or are you seeing two items on your screen, like the agenda thing and the town?
Agenda and town.
Seeing
Yeah.
two? Okay. Hold on. Let me do this. How about now?
Still, there we go.
Now it's on. Yeah. Now you're good.
Yeah, that's got it now, I think.
All right, Mr. Mayor, we're whenever you're ready.
All righty, I'm good if y'all are.
Yeah. I'm
All
good.
righty, I'll go ahead and call us to order. Thank you all for joining in this is our second month of doing these Zoom meetings, and just once again thank Jeff for getting this together, and thankful I guess we have technology to be able to do this. So hopefully things will get more normal soon and we can be back in our council chambers. So let's have our invocation and we'll go ahead and get started, please. Father, we just thank you once again for this time together as council members, and we just thank you for this town, and we continue to pray for your blessings upon this town and this community, Lord, and just keep us safe, and just pray for our country as we continue to go through this stage of the virus, Lord, and we just pray for those, all the leaders and those making decisions for us, that they will be using you as their guidance and leadership and making all decisions that are right for our nation and our state and our localities, Lord. And we just pray now as you be with us tonight and help us to make decisions for this town, this community that will be pleasing to you. And Lord, we just ask forgiveness of our sins. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
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 All righty. We need to have approval of our minutes for our last meeting. Any changes, corrections to the minutes?
None
Motion to
noted. Whoop. Excuse me. Go ahead.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. We need to do a roll call. Is that right, Tara?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll let you go ahead and do that then.
Councilmember Pittard,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sizemore,
Yes.
Councilmember Warner.
Yes.
Is that everybody? All right, so we'll move on. List of vendors paid for the month of April. Any questions or comments from council?
Yes, sir. I have a couple. And Tara,
Okay.
if you want, Tara, you can explain it tomorrow, whatever. On page 13, vendor number 826, town police unit number 33, it was towed for $65. And then on page 18, vendor number 3882, that same unit 33 was towed again for $100.
Page 15.
13 and 18.
That's because it had to be towed to, it had to be towed to the
To the dealership.
dealership.
it was looked at locally and it needed some major work, so they had to
And,
take
well,
it to
it
the.
needed some computer work,
Yeah.
and they couldn't do that.
All right, one other real quick question. Under that same vendor number 32, page 18, there was a $300 charge to seize a BMW. How are we reimbursed for those types of charges?
Bank, once they can't pick it up unless they pay the.
Okay.
This is the one that was,
The BMW that
it
was.
was seized. It was involved in a drug deal. And so we took possession of that, and it will be sitting there until eventually, hopefully we can sell it.
One
Okay.
real quick question, Tara, and I think it was a carryover because last month we had double meetings and it didn't start until May the 5th. I noticed you had a special report under the treasurer's report that said that the credit card charges shown last month, because we got 4 boxes of pre-stamped envelopes. Well, that was in the same packet last month.
Right. Because it was, I think I reported it last time, and, well, it was the one on the 5th. And it was the same
Okay.
billing.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Motion to approve.
Second,
Okay, motion and a second. All right, Terry, we'll do our roll call vote.
Councilmember Pittard,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
yay.
Councilmember Harris,
Yay.
Vice Mayor Sizemore,
Yes, ma'am.
Councilmember Warner.
Yay.
Okay, we'll move on to the financial statements. Any questions or comments from council on the financials?
None.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion that we approve financial statement.
Second.
All right, motion and a second. Once again, we'll do a roll call vote, Terry.
Councilmember Pittard,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
Yes,
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sizemore,
Yes.
and Councilmember Warner.
Yes.
Okay. We'll move on to public comment that I know I haven't had any requests. Jeff, I think you said you hadn't had anything. Any other council member had any type of public any contact with anyone regarding public comment or for this by email or phone?
not
I'm
me.
wondering the phone call I had just a few minutes ago concerning 4th Street.
Okay.
They want to know
Jeff and I
whether the
talked to you-
town had made any decisions or not.
Okay. I know Jeff and I talked a little bit about that. I know he's aware of that situation. I think we can take a look at it and we'll have to see if anything else can be done. Jeff, is there anything you want to add about that?
I mean, it just, unfortunately, the water is up to the height that it's blocking 4th and the driveway, which has happened in the past. And I think
Right.
she's got a problem where I think she didn't get her car out unless she got it out this afternoon. And so she's kind of landlocked right now. We're working on trying to find a way to, either get the car out or get her access to something to be able to get out. I think her husband's vehicle is out.
Okay.
We'll follow up with her tomorrow and see how things.
That'll be good.
Is that a state maintained road?
4th Street is a state maintained road. The access road going to her house is a town street.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else?
And of course, we've got the door open. There's nobody here for public
Okay.
input. And I have not received any requests for public input.
I've had a couple people approach me about the extremely loud exhaust pipes on some vehicles that ride through town. And I did have an opportunity to talk to the chief today, and he said when some of the restrictions are lifted, that he does plan on addressing that situation.
Okay.
Yay, good, because they come down Third Street, they're wide open, boy.
He made the comment,
Alrighty.
by his house on the Highway 15, 7, 11, 12 o'clock at night. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people concerned about it.
I wish they'd come down the street tonight.
I think
Well, there's a noise ordinance in town.
we may have to adjust it to also include exhaust pipes.
Well, I think the way it's set up, it probably would. Anyway, he can take a look at that.
It will if it's,
Yeah.
I think it could be applied.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think we'd have to do anything additional to it.
Great. Thank you.
Anything else? All right, we'll close public comment and we'll move on. Jeff, you giving a report for Richard tonight?
Yes, yeah, Richard is out of town, actually. I'll start off, we have done, we have the tank maintenance contract at the Commerce Park, and this project has been completed, and it's just a picture of the finished product. And that is completed, and we're happy and excited. And then, of course,
Good.
you remember last month, we had the main rupture on Burlington Drive. Of course, that was fixed that day, and we had a boil water notice, and that notice was lifted on May 6th, which was, after we got all the testing back and everything was clear, they got that boil notice was lifted on May the 6th, and everything is back to normal and working well.
Very good.
Yeah, in your packet this time, it's just an annual report. This is the 2019 annual drinking water quality report. Put that in there for you to view to see if you had any questions. It has already been advertised in both papers, and it is on the town website to be for review. As I said, we put it in your packet so that you guys would also have a copy of it. Any questions on that? Today I want to talk to you about the paving project. In the 1920 budget, which is the current budget, we had allocated $15,000 for cemetery paving, and we were going to do like a phased implementation, do a little bit each year. But now with the drop in oil prices, the price of asphalt is much more favorable for doing paving. So Richard and I talked. We're making the recommendation that we move forward with paving all of those streets. They're all cracking and beginning to fall apart. And so we need to, if we address them now, I think we'll save money in the long range. Number one, I think asphalt prices will stay down. But also, as these things crack and they get worse, then it takes more to repair them. And we're at a point now, I think we could limit what we'd have to do if we go ahead and address it. Richard has done some preliminary work, and in the budget, he's figuring it's about $35,000 to finish it. We currently have 22,000 in municipal dock line item. Of course, right now it would be not a very good time to take the dock out of service to do this work. So what we're recommending, let's go ahead and do the cemetery work and move this money from the municipal dock. I'll still leave some money in there to do, any unexpected changes that we need to make or a breakage but this way we can go ahead and address the cemetery, reap the benefits of this low asphalt pricing, and then we can also put this in the budget. Now, now you'll see it later tonight. We put this in the budget for next year too. So we're going to go ahead and can address that in an off season.
I had an opportunity to ride through there day before yesterday. And who's responsible for, I know no other term, to spray Roundup? I mean, there's grass growing up in between the asphalt, which
and that's where the asphalt's cracked. And we should do that. Bruce, is the answer to your question. Our guys could spray it, but as it cracks, as water gets in it and it freezes, it's just gonna split like we had on one of the roads a couple of years ago. It eventually the whole asphalt just broke into pieces. And now's our chance to coat it and, you know, and
One
get it
other
taken care
item,
of.
and I do not know what the cost difference is, but I've noticed when the highway department comes in, they no longer repave with asphalt. They come in and put down tar and gravel.
Yeah.
And I would assume there's a reason for that. I don't know whether it's economic. It's probably long-term economically a lot less expensive. And I was wondering why we're going with asphalt.
It's less expensive to do it. I don't know that it lasts as long, but it's just one of that's their way they are addressing the secondary streets. You know, I'm not saying we couldn't do that, but that, and our action was looking to asphalt.
Could we get a price for both?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Thank you.
Will any of the existing asphalt be taken up before the?
I don't think so. I think we'll be okay, Councilman Height. I think they will be able to salvage what we've got. And I think that's one of the reasons for doing it is we don't want to let it get to the point where we have to dig it up, which it really does increase the cost.
Well, I'm gonna tell you from my personal experience of riding on roads where they just put gravel and tar down, it's the biggest mess I've ever seen.
It is, yeah.
I would hate to do that.
Jeff, I walk the cemetery every day, so I can, but there's a grate down at the end of the first, going west, the first entry. Well, maybe it's an exit, but sort of in the bottom, but all the way to the end where, they loop together, there's a grate. There's a grate that needs addressing, that the water drains down in, and it's loose, and it's somebody's car wheels are going to end up in there, and it could be a mess.
Is that near the mausoleum, or is it up on the top end?
It's all the way to the end, way to the end when you turn the curve. And like go in the first street, like the nursing home, like hang a left, go in that first street, and I could tell you what is going on up there. When I ask about removal of, there's some areas that there is a bit of a drop, off maybe, I don't know, 4 to 6 inches to the ground.
Oh, yeah, kind of on that.
I don't know if that could be
on the corner of the asphalt.
Yeah, on the edge. And some of the markers of the plats are so close to the asphalt. If whatever, they could be damaged, not intentionally, but by cars' wheels going off the road there. I don't know if they could somehow angle it, or if that's an option with redoing.
Well, when they do it, they'll even it out. They'll have areas where they'll just coat it over. They'll cut, but on the edges they'll use more on those areas to even them out.
And they'll just fill the cracks with. They'll cut them out and fill them, and then asphalt.
No. I think what they'll do is they'll get the grass out of them, and then when they put that asphalt over, they'll probably coat it one time with a small amount, and then they'll come back and put the larger part on it. Is usually what they do. They've done in the other places. So I think we could probably they'll address it, and then they'll get it evened out, so it won't have that.
Okay, good.
Jeff, do you remember the last time that was repaved?
No, it was the only, we did a small part about 3 years ago, I think it was. They had to patch an area, and that's it. The rest of it is about the same age. And I can't tell you, Bruce, how long ago that was. I have no idea. I just know that
I'm not sure either, but it's been a while, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, thank you.
I just know that if we don't do something now, it's kind of like the community center was last year. We're going to miss our opportunity to fix it at a reasonable amount instead of having to do a lot of digging up and repair work, and that's what we're trying to avoid.
Well, I think this is a good solution to what could ultimately be a very costly problem and project for the town. So I would make a motion that we accept this proposal to repair it and move the money from the line item for the dock to this and so forth.
Okay.
Second.
All right. There's a motion and a second. Tara, we'll do our roll call vote.
Yes, Bruce seconded.
Okay. Councilmember Bitterd,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
Yes,
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sizemore,
Yes.
and Councilmember Warner.
Yes.
Okay.
All righty. What else, Joe?
All right, now moving on to, unfinished business. The planning commission, back in March before we hit the,
Jeff, did you skip the police thing with the DUI?
oh, I'm sorry. Yes, I
Yeah.
did. I apologize. This month, the police, normally once a year, we adopt the new DUI and traffic ordinances that the state has put in place, and we adopt that. And this is just a kind of a housekeeping thing that we do every year. So yeah, we just need to ask for, council approval on this.
Motion to approve.
second,
Okay. Motion and a second. Once again, Tara will do a roll call vote.
Council,
Councilmember Bitterd,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
yes,
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sizemore,
Yes.
Councilmember Warner.
Yes.
All righty. Moving on.
sorry about that. I also want to make you aware, that the new police cruisers that we have gotten, both of them have been, they've been outfitted and they've been marked. So we'll start to see those on the highway here pretty quick. Unfinished business to planning commission, back in March, at the March meeting, we were supposed to have a joint public hearing, for a couple of things. And of course that got sidetracked. I have since then, this joint meeting will require the town council and the planning commission to get together. And we had an individual that was looking to get a special use permit for storage units, up off of Buffalo Road. And I think everybody, the council and the planning commission, have that packet of information. So we're looking at trying to schedule a meeting, and what I'm tentatively looking at now is doing it at 6 p.m. before our meeting on the 16th. Now, depending on what happens with phase 2, we'll decide whether we want to continue to do electronic meetings or whether we want to do a live meeting. The planning commission hasn't been on Zoom. We haven't done that yet. And of course, that's going to be, we're going to have a whole new level of dynamics pulling them in. So, but I just want to make you aware that we're looking to start that process again for that special use. And of course, we also had some zoning ordinance amendments on that schedule too. So, and that was in the same packet. So we'll, after we get this fully planned, we will send out some more information and let the public and the press know how we're going to proceed with that. But I just want to let you know that's coming back up.
Okay.
Thank you.
The roofing projects, this is the chamber building roof. I would say they're about 85% complete. They still, they still need to put the shakes on, which is this area on above the door. They also still need to put the roof on, and we still need to paint at the chamber. But it really has improved the looks of the building. I love the shakes. If y'all have got any questions or comments, I'll be glad to try to answer them. But
No, it looks good.
I
looks
agree.
great. Jeff, will they power wash the brick, even though it's not going to be painted? Will that be power washed? There's some areas with mold. I don't know.
I don't think that's on the project, but we'll find out about that If not, maybe our guys could do it.
I was gonna say, if the town has a power washer, they could do
Yeah,
it.
that's what I'm saying is if it's not involved, included, then we'll
It
look. at
likely is
taking care
not,
of it.
yeah, but I think it should be considered, yeah.
I agree.
Okay.
The police station is mainly, the roof is on. The only thing that's left is putting the handrails on and then painting the building. So we still have to do that.
Looks good.
Wonderful,
But it
yeah,
is,
just such an improvement, wow.
Yep.
you know, of course, the events have created a lot of, I'm sorry, any more questions on the roofing project? Now we move on to, their downtown events. Of course, the pandemic has made us have to reschedule a lot of things. The Big Lake Flea Market has been postponed. The Wine Festival is rescheduled to August 29th. The May Lake Life Live is postponed to October 17th. The June one is going to more than likely be rescheduled or postponed. The cruise in have been postponed. Today we actually made the call to postpone the retirement ceremony for the flag retirement ceremonies. We're going to look to push that out later and do it later. No decisions have been made concerning Lake Fest or July 4th parades. They're kind of waiting to see what the governor's going to say and get the feel of people, to see if, even if we had it, are they going to come? So that's kind of still reviewing that. Probably make a decision in early June. Of course, the Clarksville Players Youth Workshops have been canceled. The Dixie Youth Programs have canceled. We are doing the Clarksville Farm Fresh Market, which is on the 2nd and 4th Saturdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at the last one was this past weekend, May the 23rd. And it's at Pocket Park and at the corner of Pocket and 4th. You need to pre-order and then they'll do curbside pickup.
Okay.
Last month in your package, you saw the spill response plan. This was completed by CHA Consulting and was funded by a grant. That 70-page document is the finalized piece. It was reviewed by the spill response project team. And as I said, it was in your packet. And tonight, I think everybody's probably had some time to look over it to see if you had any questions or changes or desires, but mainly just wanted to get your blessing before we finished it up.
Motion to approve.
Second,
All right, motion and a second. We'll go ahead, Tara, and do the roll call vote.
Councilmember Bitters,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
yes,
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sizemore,
Yes.
Councilmember Warner.
Yes.
All righty.
All right.
Last month we talked about the Fine Arts Center and the renovation project, and made some donations to fund part of the HVAC systems. And I think some questions came up about how the project was procured, and I got some answers for you on that, and I wanted to present that tonight. Charlie's also offered to come by and do a presentation for you to kind of talk to you about where they're at and what they've done and how they got there. Of course, the Players Steering Committee is the ones that handled and looked over this renovation project. And that was, Barry Robbins, Mona Moody, Sally Morgan, Molly Kratt, Mickey Moore, Jim Blissimo, Miss Blissimo, Tammy Tillotson, Charlie Simmons, and Alan Murray. So they had a strong team overlooking the project. And what they did is they hired the Belk Group from Durham, and that group handled the bid packet and the solicitations of bids. And they sent out several qualified contractors, and J.E. Burton was the low bidder. Phase one, of course, was the lobby, control booth, and ladies' restroom. That was $485,565. Phase 2 was $318,174. That took care of the auditorium, the lighting, the new ceiling, and the new HVA system, which was $95,000. The recovered, of course, this was not in this was earlier. They also did projects before these phases where they recovered the seats in the auditorium. They also remodeled the old police department. They spent about $30,000 on that, and they've also spent about $30,000 in doing an asbestos abatement before they started any of the main phases of the project. So, any questions?
No,
That
sir.
bird I keep hearing chirp.
Yeah.
That was got some birds.
I thought
Can't
it
be
was
picked off a mockingbird.
tell my dog to be quiet.
All right, the gift card match program. Of course, this was something that the chambers got together and did. Clarksville, Chase City, South Hill, and Mecklenburg Tourism, and they call themselves Chambers in Action. And of course, this joint project was to try to provide some local incentives and money during this pandemic time with so many of our small businesses, having to fight through being closed or fight around restrictions. This would kind of help and give them a boost. Of course, what it was, if you purchased a $20, and that matching money was provided by the town of Clarksville, town of South Hill, and Chase City and Mecklenburg County Tourism. They ended up with $22,000 for matching capabilities. 82 businesses participated across Mecklenburg County. 1,100 gift cards were purchased, and that brought in about $44,000 of extra revenue for these local businesses, and just an influx of cash to help them. And I want to thank the Chambers in Action, and I want to thank the council and all those people who helped to make this happen. It was a very popular and very successful thing. It actually, when it cranked up, it sold out in roughly 2 hours. Made a big impact, and a lot of our businesses here are reaping the benefits of this. So I think it was a great thing.
It certainly was.
Just kind of remember, last month we had the local election. Everything went well with the local election. Didn't have any problems. It was a lot of absentee voting. And so I just wanted to kind of bring everybody up to speed that the primary elections were postponed to June 23rd. Voting will take place at your normal locations. And they're encouraged to request and vote an absentee ballot using that reason code 2A. Apply online. You can call elections and voter registration over at Mecklenburg County, or this is their email address. They're very eager to work with you. June 16th by 5 p.m. is the last day to request an absentee ballot to be mailed to you. June the 20th at 4 p.m. is the last day to vote absentee in person.
Well, I hope.
At 7 p.m. is election day, of course. All absentee ballots must be received by the registrar's office by that date. Yeah, for the primary. That's correct.
I hope more people vote in the primary than they did for the councilman. That's a joke.
Actually, actually, since I've been here, that was one of the bigger elections.
43 people voted.
But
they really care, don't they?
Jeff, before you move to new business, how are things working with the agreement between the Corps and the town on the marina?
We're in the process of getting the finalized the lease between us and them is just about to be finalized, and then we'll start the RFP process.
I'm wondering, the lease itself with the current people, doesn't that expire in October?
No, that has already been renewed.
Yeah.
It's been renewed, but
We
until,
had to because it was up in March.
yes, sir, but it's been renewed until when?
It's just a 1-year renewal.
1 year, yeah.
Yeah, 1-year renewal.
Okay, I was scared that we were gonna send out the request for bids and it was gonna be between now and October, but it'll be now in March.
Yeah, we've got to, put it out to bid, and then that would, they are still in the on the lease until the end of March, and
Good.
for that 1-year arrangement.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, budget amendments. You want to take this, Tara?
Okay, yes, this is related to the, Hurricane Florence and Michael. While doing all of the cleanup, we had to submit, the FEMA disaster reimbursements for like emergency protective measures to FEMA. And when the town submitted the hours, we also had included the fire department, since we were the agency that had to apply. We also submitted hours for the fire department, and we received the funding from the Department of Emergency Management. It was $100,000, $100,372.81 in funds received. And the amount that is due to the fire department is $15,121.79. So if it pleases council, we need to appropriate the funds received and also the amount to pay to the fire department to reimburse them for their hours.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, there's a motion and a second. We'll go ahead, Tara, do the roll call vote.
That was Danny second.
Danny seconded. Okay, Councilmember Pitter,
Yes.
Councilmember Height,
Yes.
Councilmember Harris,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Sizemore,
Yes.
and Councilmember Warner.
Yes,
All right, thank you.
All righty, what else?
Today, we did get as I said, the governor is put a new mandate into effect that'll take effect Friday. Virginians ages 10 and older were required to wear a mask in all brick and mortar retail stores, personal care and grooming businesses, and restaurants starting Friday. Face coverings will also be mandated on public transportation, state and local government offices, and any indoor places where people congregate. Still trying to get some detail on this from the health department. He is kind of bestowed them with the responsibility of overseeing it. And so we're trying to get a little bit more information on this and how that affects the town and the local merchants. I did want to make you aware of it because it is a new thing.
Very new. Yes, sir.
Right. Go ahead, Kevin. I'm sorry.
No, I just wanted to, and we talked a little bit about this earlier. I don't know. I think it's gonna be interesting to see how we move forward with this. And, we've been told local law enforcement are not responsible for enforcing this, and the health department is. I don't know how it's gonna be enforced. And I have mixed feelings about it, but it is what it is. So.
Any other questions or comments? All right.
we're
Well,
opening up a can of worms. I'll leave it alone.
we're moving on to the budget presentation. I can get this thing to work. All right. The budget committee is made up of Councilman Clark, Councilman Sizemore, Miss Murphy, and myself. I want to thank them for all of their efforts to help putting this together. Tara, I really do appreciate it. Tara really helped bird dog this year, and I want to thank her for her help.
Amen.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you.
The budget highlight, to kind of give you a feel, we had a 5.8% increase in health insurance costs this year, which of course we pay 100% of the employees, health care insurance, and of course we would be absorbing that. We are proposing a 2% salary increase, but this is not to take effect until January 1, if revenue allows. And you're going to hear this budget is highlighted with a lot of things that have to do with the pandemic and what is going to be the final outtake of that. What effect is it going to have on our revenue streams? So in this case, we're not saying we're going to do this up front. We're saying, if the budget allows, once we see our revenue streams are coming, then we'll make a decision later in the year on this. Just to
Right.
The VRS increase is 13.8%. Of course, you remember last year we did the hazard duty supplement for the police officers, and that is also included in here, but the VRS did go up. That's not the new rate, that's the percent. It went up. The COVID-19 pandemic is impacting revenue streams. We'll talk a little bit about that more here in a second. 3% increase in commercial insurance this time. Workman's comp, the mod rates are still improving, and I think we'll see an even bigger improvement next year if we can keep a clean record. So that is showing about a 4% decrease. General fund revenue review, revenues, it's pretty stable. I mean, we've had some changes, but overall our revenue is stable, and I think we'll be able to finish out the year in good shape. Property taxes, we are even with projections for 19 and 20. Real estate valuations are pretty flat. So in other words, we're looking about the same amount of property taxes in 2020-21. Personal property is better than projections. It's much better than projections, and we are looking at a decrease in personal property in 20 and 21 due to some due to appreciation on certain assets that make up this. So we are going to see a decrease there. Meals tax is less than projections this year, and a lot of that's due to the pandemic. Lodging tax is less than projections. Business license came in better than projection for 19 and 20. Sales tax is slightly better than projections for 19-20. So a strategy for this COVID impact on our budget is the following. We're IDing what revenue line items are affected, and we're lowering projections for those line items. And we're also looking at our budget items. Of course, you could take two approaches here. You could, just take everything out of the budget and lowball it. But what we're hoping is that things are going to get better, and that we'll have stuff built into the budget that we could utilize if the budget allows. So what we've done is we've been more conservative with our revenue projections, but we also are putting in capital projects and other items that we want to address, but we're going to freeze those items until we have a better feel of how our revenue streams are going to come in. We'll evaluate these revenues as the year progresses, and then we'll review and release frozen line items as the revenue numbers become clearer. That way we still have a budget in place. If things start to turn, we still have things we can do in the budget and it's built in, and we don't have to go back and reappropriate. As I said, those salary increases are going to be frozen until January 1, if the budget would allow it. And if it won't, then we'll make a decision to postpone or eliminate those at that point in time. We'll do quarterly reviews of the budgets, and we'll keep having to revise our strategy and look at how we're going to move forward. I have to say this budget has probably been one of the most difficult ones I've ever dealt with, because you really, your historical data for your revenue streams might be good or they may not, and so we're trying to balance that what we know where versus what we don't know. So difficult to forecast those revenue streams. Of course, sales and use tax, we've always been conservative how we estimate that, because several of you remember, a few years back where they did an audit and they found out that they overpaid sales tax, and we, of course, we had to, over a period of time, we didn't get our sales taxes, they sucked that money back in. So we tried to be very conservative with this. Business license, we've lowered our estimation on this by 9.25%. Lodging tax, we've lowered by about 17%. Meals tax, we're lowering estimations by 7%. And we're going to kind of leave the community center rentals, where they are. Bingo proceeds, we're lowering the estimate on that by 15%, because they're not having bingo, so there's not going to be any donations for the community center for that until they get back into action. Of course, in the general fund, our debt service, we've over the last few years we've been able to cut back on our debt service in that area. The fire truck will be paid off in October 2021. The community center loan, of course, was a 10-year balloon, and that will come in 2024 for the balloon payments. And we can decide at that point whether we're at a point that maybe we just pay it off, or if we want to do something different. Of course, a lot of you remember the 2014 debt restructuring we did with Davenport and Company. That cut our debt service, over the life of those debts for around $120,000. So that really helped us on the general side kind of reduce our debt structure. Water fund, of course, we've got water tank rental revenues, from Verizon that continue to come in that have helped. Currently, the utilities committee and us we're looking at, we got a grant to do a PER, some capital improvement work at the sewer plant. We've been able to find a couple of things at the water plant that we could incorporate with that also. And we're currently reviewing that PER and feel like we've got some good chances to get some grant money to help develop these, which, we don't know exactly how much that would be yet, but that's what we're working on. But it could be as much as 50 to 60% grant. So we're trying to isolate that. Of course, you currently got those regular grant sources, but you've also got money coming down from the feds that could be used for capital improvements too, with the stimulus packages that are coming out. So it is a grant opportunity for us to fix some problems that we've got, and hopefully we can utilize some of these grant funds that are out there. But to do that, you got to have shovel-ready projects. So we're working on a plan to get some stuff planned and ready. So hopefully we can benefit that. And we'll present those at a later point in time. But I just want to make you aware that it is coming. The preventive maintenance programs on the water tanks have worked really well. We've got one more tank that has to be refurbished or repainted inside and out. We also did a debt restructure in 2015, which took 8 years off of the debt service, and our water debt, over the life of that loan, we'll save nearly $400,000. As you all are aware, water funds and sewer funds, we are riding those budgets. There's not a lot of contingency budget items in there that you can, pull out. It's right. We're pretty much, on top of it, but there, you don't have as many elements there to pull out if we, run into a shortfall there.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Noticing that was done in 2015, and this is 2020, and interest rates have reduced drastically. What would happen if we tried to refinance everything one more time?
Well, you have to wait for a period of time for some of these things that they won't let you do them, but so often. I think we may have an opportunity with one of our debt services to go back, but I think the ones that we did, back in 14, I don't think that time frame has elapsed enough to do that. but that's something we can look at. Nothing to say that we can't look at it.
Interest rates, and you looking at 2024, who knows what's gonna happen with interest in
Yeah.
2024? Thank you.
Good point. Sewer fund review. Again, the sewer plant PR is also involved, and we talked about a capital improvement plan there and those working on those sources. That's the same one I just talked about with water. We're maintaining maintenance costs continue to increase at the sewer fund. We've had a lot of pump station issues, replacing pumps and plant repairs, things like that. So it's sewer fund is still plagued with maintenance issues. Of course, we're continuing to cross-train our employees from water and sewer to cross-train to utilize in both areas. As I said before, we have fewer contingency budget items here than we did in the past in the other budgets. So we're riding that tight. What other funding changes do you expect for next year? And of course, what we tried to do was keep any increases to a minimum. So no tax increases, no water rate increases, no sewer rate increases, and no garbage rate increases. So we're looking at keeping everything stable. I know a lot of people out there are hurting, and we're trying not to add any more problems to their current situation. So.
That's great.
Plans for the coming year. Of course, I'm sorry. Somebody have a question?
No, I was just saying, Jeff, in a time I know it's kind of hard right now, and I know you guys struggle with this budget, but there's probably some things that we probably needed to increase, but I'm glad we were able to get through this budget without having to make any of those increases this year.
I second that. You've just really done a good job of addressing all this.
Yeah.
The paving projects we're looking to do for this, we're looking at 2nd Street and West Street if the budget will allow. We're looking at 2 police cruisers, which will hopefully get that fleet finalized and up to speed. We're also, with everything that's happening, and with the ability that our small business are having, it's going to be important that we get things back moving and we find a way to bring that tourism traffic back, and we look for ways to develop ourselves economically. And of course, we've talked about a part-time position the last few years, but we think the time is right. Of course, with the assessment we did with Sandra Tanner, this is one of the big things that came up is these businesses would love to see us bring in a full-time tourism and economic development person. So we've toyed with this, and I've worked with the budget committee to try to find a way to make this happen. We're looking at doing it in a contract way, so that way we're going to try to bring them in, see if it works, and if they are able to pursue and help us, then we'll continue the position. So that's a new item here, and I know it's you say, oh, you're doing this in a difficult budget, but we see this as critical to getting us back to moving. Marshall really depends on tourism, and I think our businesses would really love to see us make this happen. So that's one item I've thrown in here. We've also thrown some budget money at this too, so that not only do you have somebody that does it, but they've got some things we can work at to do more advertising and try to promote the town and try to help bring some new life into here and continue the strides we've made in the last few years, but to move it forward. So repairs, and we're looking to paint and repair the exterior of this building and do some work interior. Of course, that's if the budget will allow, but I tell you, the exterior here needs it pretty bad. So that's going to be hard to keep letting that go. It needs to be done pretty quick. We also are in finalization of restarting the Planters Warehouse project. The bank has approved their loan, and we've had the appraisals done, and the loan to value ratios are good. And Dave McCormick and Waukesha want to keep moving, and I think he could see this project close in the next 45 to 60 days, and then this project is going to start over again.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Good work, Jeff. I know you worked hard at it.
Thank you. Of course, we're hopefully getting close to finalizing all of the implementation of the CAMS and RMS software implementation at the police department. So they're really enjoying that, but it has been a task. We're also looking to replace our financial software. We still have money in this budget. We have completed an RFP. We're in the in the evaluation phase of this to replace this software. Probably what we're looking at is, depending on how quick we can get through it, we may want to take what money we have this year and put it away and couple it with what's in the budget for next year for this to buy the software, do the conversion, and do the implementation that we can move forward. The software we got, I don't want to sell. It's a good software, but the people that wrote it, they don't have a succession plan, and I think we don't move forward, we're really putting ourselves in a bad spot. So that's an item that we're looking to try to make happen next year.
Okay.
Budget calendar, the first draft of the proposed budget is tonight, of course. We wanted you guys to see it. Of course, it will come out in the paper tomorrow. Then the plan is to have a public input session on June the 4th. And I'm sorry, that's not 2019, that should be 2020. And that will be at 6:30 here at Town Hall. It more than likely will be an electronic meeting at this point in time. Of course, we want a solicitation of the citizens, so we will be putting out information, telling them how they can provide input to the budget, either remotely or by email or letters or phone calls, or how they want to do it. We want to give them an opportunity to give us some input on this budget. And we're looking to have the final budget approved on June the 16th, and that should be 2022. I apologize for that, but that's our regular meeting, and we're hoping to incorporate that in our regular meeting. Have not made a decision about that being an electronic meeting yet. We'll have to talk about that as phase 2 comes out from the governor. And of course, that night, we'll be looking at your recommendations. We'll also be looking at feedback from the citizens, and then we're hoping to approve that budget at that meeting.
That's also the night for the zone request.
Yes, sir. That's correct. We'll do that at 6. And then we'll do this in our regular meeting. I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
That'll be at 6 for the zoning, and the regular meeting will start there directly afterward.
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Thank you.
All right. Now I'm going to turn this over to Tara. She's going to talk about the categorical budgets.
You can see the total proposed revenue is $2,339,308.37.
Can you give Tara the microphone? She's hard to hear.
Okay,
I can't hear.
Let me switch positions with her.
And can you do us a favor and take our pictures off, because I can't see the far right-hand side of the budget column. Can y'all see it? Is it just my computer?
It's just the increase and decrease.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
I can see it.
I like all the parentheses. I like that. That means decrease. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I should say the revenues did decrease, but the main reason for that is we don't have the Southwest project any longer since that was finalized.
Okay.
Okay.
Reduction in the other line items, of course, like sales tax.
Right, yeah, like he was saying, us being conservative and lowering some things. And anticipate not knowing what's gonna happen, not knowing what's the future's gonna bring, we're trying to be conservative. All right, so we'll move into the total, the expenditures. The total proposed expenditures is $2,202,719.10. And here again, we have a reduction because we don't have the Southwest project
expenditures, and debt service has decreased. But we do, still have some funding for the other line items. But yeah, and then like public safety went down, because we finished paying for the new radio system and software and everything. So the total proposed contingency for 2021 is $136,589.28.
Okay.
Are there any questions about any particular thing?
And you will be getting your budget book later this week, to get into the details.
Yeah, and sanitation decreased because, we went ahead and had funded the garbage truck, so we don't need that in there.
I noticed on the general surplus, you did not extend that amount over to the last column, which of course would have been in parentheses, negative.
Yes, that was not done. I don't think, we didn't do it on either one. But all right, moving into the next screen for the water and sewer. The total proposed water revenues is $579,745.84. And the total proposed sewer revenues is $786,250. So there wasn't much change, like he was saying, and there wasn't hardly any changes in these two line items. There wasn't any in the sewer at all. Those are the same figures. The total proposed water fund expenditures is $553,636.42. And the total proposed sewer expenditures is $758,862.97. The total proposed contingency for the water fund is $26,109.43. And the total proposed contingency for the sewer fund is $27,387.03.
Right. Thank you, Tara. But as you said, on the general side, what we try to do is have some conservative parts in it, but also have the ability to react to some projects if our revenue streams did return more to a normal aspect. Sewer, we just basically, in water, we tried to keep them as is. Of course, we raised sewer rates last year. And I think we're in a position that we'll be able to make it through this coming year. But that's again, we don't have a lot of wiggle room in the water and sewer budgets to, if we have revenue shortfalls. But we'll have to, worst case, we'd have to deal with them with their contingency reserves. Any questions on this? As I said, you'll get your budget books, which will take you through everything, and then we can talk more. But this is kind of the high level budget presentation. Any questions? Uh-oh. It must have dropped. So I'm letting him back in.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Danny, are you there?
I'm there. I'm here now. I don't know what happened.
Okay, that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I saw where you were coming back in.
Yeah, something happened. I don't know what happened, but anyway, I'm back.
All right. Any questions about the budget itself? Of course, this is the breakdown, the kind of the pie chart of what percentage of the budget is, 63% of the budget is in general, and 21 is in sewer, and 16% of it is in water. All right. Mr. Mayor, that's all I've got, unless you guys have any questions or things to add.
No, does anybody else from council have anything?
None here.
I don't.
No.
No,
All righty. If not, thank you all. And I guess our meeting is adjourned. And Jeff, once again, thank you to you and Tara for working on the budget on a very hard year to have to put a budget together with everything going on. So we appreciate that. Y'all did a good job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to the budget team for all their hard efforts.
Yes, sir. All right, guys. Y'all stay safe.
Thank y'all for working with
Meeting
us on
adjourned.
these electronic meetings. Y'all have been tremendous. I mean, it's, when we started this thing, it was very hiccupy, and it's gone very well the last 2 meetings. I want to thank you guys for working with me to get this set up.
No closed
Yes, sir.
session? Well, I guess people are hanging up.
Not
All
tonight.
righty.
No, sir.
Good night.
Good night.
Night, Dick.
I.
Say good night,
Thank you.
Dick.
Take care. All right. Bye, guys.